Like being scared here of dangerous people. I always have to help. See, go down. Looks like that guy had a gun. Some sort. There's like so many of them. There's like 4 of them. And they're looking at us. They're at me.
These were just some of the last words from YouTuber and vlogger Elliot Eastman. And then, just 2 weeks later, he vanished from all social media, totally ghosting his family and friends. Nobody could get in touch with him easily because, as it turned out, he had travelled over 8,000 miles to start a whole new life in a foreign country. Even though officially this case is considered closed, what happened next still remains partly a mystery depending on who you ask. He left behind a story wrapped in secrets, intrigue, corruption, and, unfortunately, some really bad decisions. But, hey, everyone's got their story, right? And I'm here to tell his. Hey friends, welcome back to Detective Mike's channel. Today we've got a story packed with scams, betrayals, international runaways, and cold-blooded murder. But before we dive in, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share this video with a friend. And, if you don't share it, well, legend says bad luck will follow you for 10 days. Drop a comment if you believe in that stuff, and let's get started. On October 17th this year, 6-year-old YouTuber Elliot Eastman suddenly disappeared from all of his social media accounts. Even though he's originally from the US, at the time he was living abroad in the Philippines with his wife, who's a native of the country, so his family and friends back home had no clue what was going on. But when they noticed he stopped posting anything online, alarm bells went off immediately. I mean, Elliot had uploaded over 600 videos to his YouTube channel just in 2024 alone. Short clips, live streams, long videos, the whole deal. And suddenly, he not only stopped talking to family and friends, he completely went silent on social media. It was so unlike him. Turns out, their worry was totally justified. None of this was actually his choice. Elliot Eastman grew up in a picturesque corner of Vermont in a tiny town called Heinsberg. He was born in 1997 and graduated from Champlain Valley Union High School in 2016. Classmates remember him as quiet and reserved, but kind and honest. After high school, Elliot went on to Ithaca College in New York and later returned to his hometown in Vermont. But Heinsberg is really small, around 900 people live there. So there's not exactly a ton to do, no big entertainment, no serious career opportunities. Elliot didn't really have big career ambitions, so until 2022, he was working as a DoorDash courier and an Uber driver in his hometown. If you scroll through his social media, you can even see he decked out his car with some pretty cool ambient lighting. In his free time, Elliot loved photography and would sometimes go skiing, and honestly, he was pretty good at it. He had a real love for nature and animals. But eventually, the calm, predictable pace of life in Heinsberg just got, boring for him. And you kinda get it, yeah. The place was super scenic. But how many times can you go to the same lake before it starts feeling old? Elliot wanted to travel the world, soak up new experiences, and see something outside his comfort zone. And eventually, he decided he was going to do just that. You don't even need me to explain how huge our world is, or how wildly different each country can be. But for some reason, Elliot set his sights on the Philippines. We still don't know exactly what first drew him to the country, but his plan was to travel around the Philippines, making YouTube videos, and doing it as cheaply as possible. See, the average salary in the Philippines is only about $300 a month. That's 5% of what he could make back home in Vermont. And, get this, Elliot planned to live in what's called the red zone, where the average wage drops to around $200. Why not, right? Was it smart? Well, we'll get to that later. But Elliot had already made up his mind. By the end of 2023, he'd wrapped up all his business, quit his job, said goodbye to his family, and boarded a plane to the Philippines. Flying out of Burlington International Airport, he covered over 8,000 miles and landed in Manila, the capital city. Life in the Philippines is, without a doubt, a whole different world compared to the West. Whether you're from Europe, the US, or even Australia, the Pearl of the Orient, as people call it, has completely different rhythms, culture, and vibes. And get this, the Philippines isn't just one big landmass. It's made up of an incredible 7,641 islands. Wherever there's land, you'll find dense tropical forests, mountains, tons of lakes, and waterfalls scattered across rugged terrain. The cities are amazing too. Manila is a treasure trove of cool spots. Museums, parks, theatres, malls, and literally a restaurant for every taste. The local food blends Malay and Spanish influences, giving the culture this rich, unique flavour that you just don't get anywhere else. Manila is considered relatively safe, as long as you use common sense and stick to well-known areas. But, as you might guess, things change pretty quickly once you step outside the capital. Just head inland, and suddenly the risk level shoots way up. Travelling further south, it's easy to end up in dangerous situations, and if you make it all the way to the far south or west, some people would say it's practically suicide. A lot of Western governments strongly advise their citizens to avoid travelling to the southern parts of the country. For example, the Smart Traveller website basically says not to go anywhere near central and western Mindanao, including the Zamboanga Peninsula, the Sulu Archipelago, and the Sulu Sea region. These areas are considered extremely high risk for terrorism and kidnappings. The UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office gives the same advice: stay away from central and western Mindanao. And according to the US State Department travel map, while travellers should be cautious throughout the Philippines, the Sulu Sea area is especially dangerous. That red zone is basically around the Zamboanga del Sur Peninsula. Historically, it's been a hotspot for terrorist and armed groups involved in kidnappings for ransom both on land and at sea. They're also known for bombings and armed attacks in the region. These attacks often target foreigners, including Americans, as well as local authorities and security forces. So, unsurprisingly, just like Australia, Canada, and the UK, the US government has extremely limited ability to provide emergency help in this area. Other risks: violent protests, robberies, armed crimes, drink spiking scams, and, of course, Mother Nature herself. Typhoons, tropical storms, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, you name it. It's a real danger for anyone living or travelling there. So yeah, this insanely beautiful country comes with a high price. But for some reason, none of that scared Elliot off. He didn't take any of these warnings seriously enough to abandon his plan. In fact, he was kind of proud to be one of the few Western travellers daring enough to go into the Philippines' red zone. And that's exactly where he ended up settling, on the coast in the municipality of Sabuko, which, as you can see on the map, is in the Zamboanga del Norte region. It's worth noting this area is smack in the middle of the red zone, not even close to the orange, and definitely nowhere near the yellow or green. Right from the start, Elliot was concerned about his own safety. That's when he decided to visit a shaman living up in the Sabuko mountains. And maybe fate really did play a part, because that's where he fell in love with the shaman's daughter, a girl named Keisha Jala. According to Elliot, it was love at first sight. Their relationship moved fast, so fast in fact, that just a few months later, they got married. By July, they were officially husband and wife, and from that point on, Elliot fully tied his life to the Philippines. He stayed in the red zone through all of 2023 and 2024, except for one short trip back home to make a bit of money. It was during that visit that he set up his Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok pages, which later became his main sources of income in the Philippines. On top of that, Elliot added donation pages through PayPal, Venmo, and Buy Me a Coffee. And honestly, from a strategy perspective, that was really smart, because $1 goes a lot further in the Philippines than in any Western country. For a decent life there, he only needed about $200 a month. But that wasn't his only plan to earn money. He had other business ideas he wanted to roll out for the local community. We'll get back to those, they turned out to be pretty risky. On his YouTube About Me page, Elliot wrote, "Hey everyone, I'm Elliot Eastman. I'm 26 years old, and about a year and a half ago, I came to the Philippines, where I met the love of my life high up in the mountains of the Red Zone." The Zamboanga del Norte region is a relatively new part of the Philippines that used to be accessible only by sea. I'll be sharing my daily life as the first and only foreigner to ever live here long-term in Sabuko. I'm originally from the US. Elliot officially kicked off his YouTube career in early January 2024, posting his first short clips, which would eventually grow into over 500 videos. By the very next month, February, Elliot started vlogging every single day, and judging by those first few videos, he instantly set the tone for what his content would be like. He titled one of his early uploads, "Living in the most dangerous area of the Philippines, the Red Zone," and honestly, he gave a fascinating glimpse into life on the southern Philippine islands. Those kinds of videos could have been a total hit with Western audiences if he'd just polished them up a bit and given them a clearer structure.
It's about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'm just cooking some dinner. Added some salt and pepper. Krish is gonna cook up some fish, and we're gonna have some dinner, and then tomorrow we're gonna go swimming. It's definitely different here. See this little crack in the wall here? That's the CR. You wouldn't think it's much, but little bathroom in the crevice of a wall. I am renting this apartment here for 3,000 pesos each month, which comes to about $52 each month, around $1.75 each day. And yeah, I'm renting this place. It's very nice. Washing machine, a classic stove. I have a garden here. One mango. For less than $2 per day, I have an apartment with utilities included. Alright, we're out here, the streets of Sabuko. Look, this is my little wife, and she's very disobedient at times, but doesn't really listen to me about all the time. So, it's dangerous area.
You already know what you're
What's this?
Lumpia.
Lumpia?
Yeah. 3 pesos.
Yeah, the matches.
Most of his videos are genuinely interesting to watch, and by the way, as of the time this investigation was made, they're all still available on YouTube. In them, Elliot shows the raw, unfiltered, everyday life in a place that very few people have ever even heard of. Yes, what he was doing was risky, but at the same time, it was truly unique.
Check out all these cool boats, y'all. So very different. You know, my flat right here, but right now it is not working because we don't have enough battery in our solar to make it run. And it's already here at the end of the day. The solar is no battery. And these guys are collecting some wood that drifted from the ocean. What's that? Waves are beautiful and deep. And that is gonna be a wrap for today's vlog, you know. I thought it was short, not much, but it was something. And tomorrow we're gonna be looking at another one. The light is little. So that's gonna be it for today's vlog, y'all. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.
Settling right on the beach, Elliot was constantly battling the elements, the ocean, the weather, and the lack of resources. He lived a kind of life that almost no European or American could even imagine.
Okay. Everybody, 7:38 in the morning. The waves are super huge. Let me show you this. Scary. It's coming in with here.
But aside from the forces of nature, Elliot also faced financial challenges. His equipment, inverters, batteries, and other gear kept breaking down.
Alright, so we got an update. Our freaking inverter, second inverter, just fried. This shit did it. This is our first one that just fried. And now this is our second one that literally just started smoking. I don't know if this guy set it up wrong or what. Maybe he set this up wrong because this should not hit the second inverter. It's already like fried. This is basically my livelihood here. Like, I'm surviving at this point. I spend all my money on this business. So either I get this business running or basically I just get home.
Elliot's way of communicating with his audience was genuine and down to earth. He didn't sugarcoat anything, he spoke openly, as if he were talking to close friends. All his live streams, which he started hosting in June 2024, were meant to draw more attention to his channel so he could finally monetize his content and start receiving donations. That summer, Elliot opened a small shop where he sold food, snacks, and basic necessities to the local residents. He also set up a Wi-Fi network and rented access to it for a fee. As seen in one of his videos, he sold household goods, things like toothpaste, cooking oil, and noodles, with a markup of around 30%.
Check out my store, you guys. We got canned stuff. What up, Billy? We got canned goods. We got all kinds of stuff. We got our little price list made out. These ones are like 28 pesos. It's charging like 30% markup on everything. Bread. No, dude. I'm not from the Philippines. I'm from the US, actually. But I'm living here in the Philippines and I'm starting businesses here. And today is our first day. We got our store open. This is our first day opening this store. We've had a couple sales so far, you know. It's pretty decent. It's pretty big size too.
And then this guy chat you like a skeleton.
Skeleton, what? You think I'm dead here?
You're dead
Nah, I ain't dead here, bro. I'm chilling. I'm good. Nobody's gonna kidnap me, right?
Elliot also let his wife join him during his live streams. She seemed very calm and happy on camera.
Staying skinny, jog every day in 30 steps, back and forth, like that. And then go to gym, and then like look at him. He's like a monkey in the wall. No, I don't know if I'm pregnant or no. They said I'm pregnant. Maybe my husband is pregnant. You too, Queenie. Take care. Thank you so much. God bless you. I don't know, maybe I'm sick.
Here, we start to see the fear that both Elliot and Keisha were feeling. Even though this was their home, it was clear they didn't trust everyone in their community. That became evident during one of Elliot's live streams.
So that everyone is swimming into a river, we can go swimming with us.
No, I don't wanna go, just only you and me. I don't wanna go, just only you and me.
Why?
I'm afraid.
Are you afraid? I was asking you if I'm telling you something else.
I'm afraid if we don't have somebody with us. I'm scared if I'm getting
After that, a little argument broke out between them, and you could totally feel the cultural tension in the air. But, of course, Elliot, being a foreigner, had to show some respect for the local culture.
No tourists ever come here. I've never seen one. Except for maybe from Arabia or Saudi Arabia or something. Yeah. No tourist has ever visited this area. I'm like the first one who's ever. Well, I think there's been people who have visited, but they only stay like a day. Or they only stay for a quick minute to visit, and then they move on. But me, I've been living here for 3 months. This trip, and in the past, I've lived here for 6. Total, I've probably lived here like a whole year in total in my life. I've never seen any other foreigner here. Because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous area.
It seemed like Elliot was constantly worried about his own safety, like seriously anxious, and he even started thinking about going back to the US. He talked about it a lot, saying it was a real possibility, because he just didn't feel safe living in the Philippines anymore.
If I was going to go back to the States to do that, I'd have to get my license. I'd have to renew my license. Maybe I'm going to go to the States soon, yeah. It's very possible. Obviously, this place isn't the most safe place for, like, somebody like me. Yeah, that's like a smart idea, honestly. Just get some quick delivery cash and come back. Not a bad idea, but at the same time, I don't know if I'd wanna. I definitely would want to do things a little different if I came back here. And I wouldn't want to rush over here anytime soon unless I was like ready. It's a 100% flip difference of living, and most Americans probably couldn't live here for very long. I don't think they could. I don't know how. Most of them wouldn't really want to deal with this kind of stuff. What up, Max? Most Americans kind of will not handle this kind of lifestyle. They just can't, because it is 100% a low quality of living, and most people are kind of like okay with it. Like they don't. It doesn't matter to them if it's any better than this. So that's part of the hard part about living down here. Like, people don't care to be better. People don't want to try to make their lives better or change things or anything like that.
Through his live streams, Elliot also talked about how other drivers would, like, intentionally cut him off on the road, how some guys would literally pee on the floor in his store on purpose, and how people kept burning trash around his house all the time.
It's hard because I'm living in the city right now. Honestly, my life here, it's kind of ass, a little bit. If I were to do it again, I wouldn't do it like this. Yeah, it's just hard, like, being stuck in something that's, like, that you're not content with. It's not even that I'm scared, it's like the fact, like, the family that I'm living with is scared of me, something happening to me, and then if something happens to me, they're scared that something's gonna happen to them too. So it's like I'm stuck, listening to what they are telling me what to do. That's the hard part. Yeah, it's just dangerous for me here. It's dangerous here.
He also made short videos complaining about neighbours burning trash, and how he just couldn't change the culture around him. Over time, those feelings didn't get any better. In his live streams open to anyone who wanted to watch, Elliot often talked about being unhappy with his life, and the many fears surrounding him.
Yeah, it's like I would love to do stuff that I want to do, but I feel like trapped. I literally feel like trapped. Because if I want to go, even I want to go do something, I want to go walk out anywhere or down the beach somewhere different, like, this family is going to get mad at me that I'm living with. They're going to be angry with me. That's the problem I have right now. You know, it's not even like their feelings. It's like the way they feel like maybe they're gonna be affected by if something happens to me. So I'm like putting them at risk by me doing something. That's what they're saying. But maybe they're scared that I'm just gonna leave them. Yeah, there's that possibility too. Like if I'm getting kidnapped or something like that. Yeah, there's like criminals. Yeah.
He compared his life there to the rest of the Philippines and the world.
It's like sometimes I do feel respected here, sometimes I don't really feel respected, so that's the other hard part. It's like I know if I went any other way, any other place in the Philippines or any other place in the world besides maybe the US, because in the US as an American, like somebody like me, I'm just a normal person, right? Nobody gives two shits, nobody thinks anything of it. But if I go to anywhere else in the world, maybe people are gonna treat me good. People are gonna treat me nice, for the most part. You know, and at least anywhere in the Philippines, I know that. And if I'm not being treated well, I know I just have to move. So, and then I can find a place where people will treat me well, because I know that's how the Philippines work. But I feel like I've been staying in this area for so long, to the point where people, I don't even know if people like me anymore. Maybe they want bad things to happen to me now. It's like, that's how I'm starting to think. So it's like, it's really not good. I don't really know, like, what would happen if somebody did try to come here and kidnap me, right? Would the neighbors help me, or would they just sit there and watch? Because it's gotten to the point where I've been here for so long that people are, like, have become normalized for me in this area. And especially the family I'm living with, and I just don't know. Like, I get mixed feelings, you know? So it's kind of like people coming here to tell my family that there's people that want to kidnap me, or they're threatening to kidnap me, or stuff like that. Like, every day this is happening. This is like a real life thing for me here, and that's why no foreigners or there's no tourists staying here, because they're smarter than that. But for me, I've been living here, I've been taking this chance, you know. Even last night, I'm scared a little bit. I'm scared, and if it comes to the point where it's like all of a sudden I'm kidnapped and something's gonna happen to me, I'm gonna ask myself, I don't know.
There were actually countless examples of Elliot's fear and anxiety. He was constantly worried about his own safety, and this went on for months. The sad truth is that kidnappings in the Red Zone were a real threat. In just the past decade, over 40 Western foreigners had been abducted. Even his own wife had first-hand experience. When she was in 5th grade, her Canadian classmate was kidnapped for a $50,000 ransom. But for some reason, Elliot didn't feel like he could just leave. Maybe he was worried about his wife's safety, or maybe he believed he could protect himself. Now that we have the picture, it's clear Elliot was living in a very dangerous area. He was building a business within the local community, and openly showing his fears was already risky enough. But he decided to take things further and start another business, one that, honestly, was begging for trouble. In the second half of 2024, Elliot started a loan shark operation, basically lending locals money for free but expecting them to pay back with a 20% interest. Not only did this show off his wealth and attract corruption, it also made him a direct competitor to all the local criminals. And let's be real, debt can seriously mess with people's morale. Frankly, it was a terrible choice, especially for the only foreigner in the area.
Okay. I'll go first. Yan na.
Kidnappers home.
Okay.
Here I am. Like being scared here of dangerous people. You always have to hide. See, go down. Waiting for you.
Watching his longer YouTube videos, you can see that things just kept getting worse over time. In a video from the 6th of October 2024, he was convinced they were being watched and kept asking himself whether someone was planning to kidnap him. When he, his wife, and a friend reached the base of a hill, he noticed a group of people on the other side of the shore carrying weapons, and honestly, that only amplified his sense of danger.
I wonder what they're doing. Maybe they're spearfishing. They're spearfishing. I think these people are spearfishing. Looks like that guy had a gun. Some sort. There's like so many of them. There's like 4 of them. 4 people there. Getting script.
Although nothing happened to Elliot, Keisha, or their friend that day, it's important to remember how uncomfortable it must have been for her to walk along the shore, completely exposed. If you check Google Maps, you'll see it was just a few minutes walk from their home, meaning even their backyard wasn't really safe.
And they're looking at us, or at me. They're interested.
In his third and final video, Elliot shared a few details about his loan shark business. He talked about the profits from debts, and how he could multiply those earnings from the same people.
The guy who we lent money to, he returned our money. When we lent him $21,400 and he came back with $23,500. So a little extra. We sent him back with $35K. Yeah, should be seeing a little bit extra profit off of this. Maybe in 1 month we'll have already $3,500 profits. You know, business in there. We got our Wi-Fi still running, and then we're working on getting another Wi-Fi going through PLDT.
In his second to last long video, Elliot showcased the Filipino way of life. His wife was feeling unwell, and he was doing yoga to ease the aches and pains that had been bothering him lately.
And boom, we are out. Fresh out of the shower, the cold shower, in the cold and rainy water. It's hard to get used to Filipino lifestyle. It's crazy. Showering in cold water, crazy. So Sweet Pea's still a little bit sick. I brought her some water, but she's still not feeling that well. Hopefully she's gonna get better soon. Alright, so now I'm gonna do some yoga. Got these pains and everywhere on my body. Sports in high school, so I'm gonna go ahead and do some yoga not real quick, but hopefully for a while until like I'm either too tired or I feel good. Alright you guys, it's already late, super late. So that's gonna be the end of the vlog today. I will see you guys tomorrow.
In his final livestream on the 17th of October 2024, Elliot mostly stayed quiet, eating in the kitchen and looking tired and disheveled. Every now and then, he answered a viewer's question. One viewer asked,
Enjoying Philippines? I'm enjoying it. There's some parts that I like about it, there's some parts that I don't like about it.
Then someone asked him what exactly he didn't like.
What don't I like about it? The bathrooms are smelly. They don't smell good most of the times, and I'm just getting tired of like being around all the same people. You know?
He seemed detached from his audience and eventually shut off the camera without even saying goodbye. Tragically, that was the last time the internet saw Elliot Eastman alive. Just 2 hours later, men dressed in police uniforms quietly approached his home. These so-called officers were actually members of a splinter terrorist group, and, of course, they were there to kidnap Elliot for ransom. Elliot tried to resist, and the terrorists shot him in the leg to stop him from escaping. Tragically, it's believed that during the shooting, a stray bullet struck his abdomen. Instead of letting him go, the attackers put him on a motorboat and sped off into the night. At that point, this was all that was known about Elliot Eastman's fate. He vanished into the dark sea, leaving his terrified wife behind. Local police tried to pursue the armed men, but couldn't catch them. Reports say they fled south to Basilan or Sulu areas, notorious for high levels of terrorism and piracy. When the police reached his home to investigate, they found a trail of blood on the vinyl floor, blood in the sand outside, and an empty M16 rifle cartridge. As you can imagine, Elliot's disappearance became a major concern for the Philippine National Police, since the disappearance of a Western foreigner, especially an American, can seriously impact tourism. The local mayor offered a reward of 150,000 Philippine pesos, about $2,500, for any information that could help locate him. Later, it was reported that Elliot allegedly died from his injuries on the boat, and rumors spread that his kidnappers dumped his body at sea. In a dramatic turn, police managed to track down a group suspected of kidnapping Elliot, leading to a shootout in which 4 suspects were arrested while 4 others remained at large. Tragically, one of the arrested suspects gave a written statement confirming the rumors. After Elliot died from one of his injuries, his body was thrown overboard. He never made it back to the base, so the kidnappers never contacted authorities for a ransom. Dozens of search operations were conducted along the coast and nearby islands in hopes of finding his body, but so far, nothing has turned up. FBI agents and the US State Department joined the investigation in the Philippines, but they still haven't found anything. No ransom demands or proof of life were ever received from the kidnappers, and tragically, he is considered dead. Authorities have since shifted their focus from arresting the culprits to recovering his body, but it's unlikely he'll ever be found. Even though several months have passed, historically, many people never get full closure with stories like this. This case was horrifying, and without a recovered body, it remains somewhat open. Still, based on the testimony of the arrested kidnappers and the FBI's report, the case can be considered resolved. You'd like to think Elliot was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, but unfortunately, he made some really risky moves. First and foremost, Elliot was smart and kind-hearted, genuinely in love with his wife. But moving into the red zone, flaunting wealth, creating videos about local life for the community, then complaining about it and becoming a loan shark, he definitely pushed things too far. There were a few other things I noticed as well. For instance, all Muslim men in that area are supposed to cover their bodies from the navel to the knees, but Elliot was always shirtless and wearing shorts. To be blunt, his clothing choice didn't exactly show respect for the culture he'd immersed himself in. He also posted photos and videos of his expensive neighborhood back in Vermont, which would have made anyone assume he was wealthy. And finally, it seems Elliot didn't have much popularity or support in the local community. He ignored warning signs and didn't leave when he could have. Tragically, it's another reminder that you should always trust your instincts. If something feels dangerous, act. Get out while you still can. Whether his body is ever found or not, I sincerely hope Elliot is alive and safe. Sadly, it looks like this story has come to an end. So, I'll wrap up this video here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And in the meantime, remember, take care of yourself, look out for each other, and of course, stay safe. Thanks, and goodbye.